Hey, make sure you drink your tea while it's still hot over there. Don't let it go cold. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Hey, welcome to Wednesday, and welcome to Student of the Gun Radio. And yes, I'm making... Alex would be proud of me. She's not here today, but she'd be proud of me because Jared's got a little rumbly in his throat, a little scratchy in his throat. So I took the echinacea tea that Alex bought last week, and I brewed it up, and I told Jared to drink it.
He put it in a mug that says, I love Mom.
I love Mom.
I love my mom. And I do, so.
Aw, that's so sweet. That's so sweet. Well, welcome to Student of the Gun Radio. Welcome to the middle of the week. Thank you for taking the time to join us today, and we've got a lot of fun and frivolity and lots of stuff to talk about. And we understand that this is one of the favorite days of the week for you all out there in the listening audience. And believe you me, we have some stuff to talk about today. We actually do. And you're like, what? I know. Oh. I just misspelled hygiene in the show notes. There you go.
Hygiene.
All right. We are, of course, as we have been all week and all month and all this year, coming to you from the Silencer Shop Studios, the home of the glass case of emotion.
SilencerShop.com, the easiest way to buy silencers online, period.
And if you're listening to me today, Wednesday, know this. Tomorrow, Thursday, we are going to have a full hour of radio. Well, not an entire hour, but pretty much an entire show. An entire show where we're going to have a friend, Jeremy, from SilencerShop.com. He's going to come on with us, and we're going to talk silencers and hows and whys and what fors, and we're going to do some myth busting and some...
There's some great information on the show, so you don't want to miss it.
You don't want to miss it. If you have a silencer, you don't want to miss it. If you don't have one, you don't want to miss it. If you're just a comfortable slave and you like to hear what free men talk about and what free men do, hey, drive on. You can listen to that too. So it'll be a lot of fun. And we'll even have some stupid range stories too. You guys always like that, right? When we share idiot stories, and you know why they like it, Jared?
Because they can relate.
Because they can relate, exactly. Because they're like, dude, at my local range, there's the same idiot. The same idiot saying the same stupid stuff at my local range as apparently at yours. Yes.
And if you're listening and you're a new listener and you are that guy that says those things, then tomorrow you will figure out that you are that guy and you will learn that you need to fix yourself.
Well, sometimes, you need to fix yourself, and that's why we're here. We're here to help you out. We're here to... just to lend a helping hand. But it is Wednesday, and I don't want to keep you guys waiting because I know you're all antsy in the pantsy out there. You're all fidgety, and you might even be engaging in some shenanigans.
Fantastic, pretty body ocean at the big Titanic, woman and ice, sweet, energetic, pretty body ocean at the big Titanic, woman and ice, sweet, fantastic.
Gym health. You want to talk about that today?
Yes, we're going to talk about gym health and hygiene. You're like, come on, Paul. I'm not in ninth grade. I don't need a hygiene class. Apparently, some people do.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
You want to tell your story, and then I'll give my bit?
Okay, I'll tell my story. The reason we chose hygiene and gym health is, number one, this time of the year, all the amateurs are flocking to the gyms. All of the once-a-year people are flocking to the Planet Fitnesses and what have you. Although it is February, so most of them are probably they've given up by now. But there's still a few out there. Now, I learned basic hygiene. I learned military hygiene when I was in the Young Marines when I was 12, 13 years old. We had hygiene class. I learned it in school. We had health class. Your body is now changing. You need to wash in your crotch and your armpits, and you need to shampoo, and you need to trim your nails, and you need to do this stuff. Really simple stuff that you learn when you're a kid. Apparently not everyone digs that. And the one gyms can be any kind of gym, any kind of fitness center, doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter whether it's CrossFit or Planet Fitness or Taekwondo gym or judo training facility, MMA, doesn't matter. If you've got human monsters in there sweating and touching stuff, it could be a breeding ground for bacteria and viruses and germs and all that. So how do we, well, number one, as somebody or a company that runs a training facility, we do things like we sanitize the mats, bleach water and all that. And we have a process that we do to sanitize the mats. And, we wipe down the gear and so forth. But if you do anything other than just run on a treadmill, if you're touching stuff, if you're engaged in a sport or an activity, it doesn't matter what the sport is. I mean, you could football, lacrosse, I don't care. You've got gear and equipment that goes with it. Now, for our world, in the fighting, combat gym, whatever you want to call it, we have things like wraps, hand wraps, because we actually hit stuff hard. And if you hit stuff hard without hand wraps, you're going to hurt yourself. Gloves, padded, different kinds of gloves. You have sparring gloves, you have bag gloves, you have, the light fingerless fight gloves, all that jazz. And you have shin guards and, stuff that touches your body. Now, essentially, you can borrow shields, like kicking shields, mitts, focus mitts, punching mitts, bags. That's gym gear. That's stuff that everybody uses, and you're expected to use that. But personal things, like your personal shin guards, your personal hand wraps, your personal gloves, they're yours. You sweat in them. You touch them. You do it. These aren't community property, and they shouldn't be community property. And, most fighting gyms that I've ever been to have some type of a shelving system and bins. You go to Walmart, you buy the big oversized Rubbermaid bins, and you take markers or tape. You take duct tape and you put Jimmy, Frankie, Johnny, whatever. You put your name on it. That's where you put your crap. And it's a big no-no, is it not, to get into somebody else's bin, J-Rod?
Yes, it is. Do not do that. That's amateur hour. And if you guys are
want to fight someone for real in a gym?
If you're new to the gym, the fighting gym, do not. And this is kind of common sense, really. It's just stay in your own lane.
It happens all the time. You remember when someone took Doo-Doo's gloves out of his thing and he was...
Yeah, he was mad.
He was pissed.
Yeah.
He spent a half an hour running through the gym looking to see who had taken his gloves out of his...
Yeah. One, the gloves are expensive. Good ones that last a while
leather
are
gloves
expensive.
are expensive.
And two, they're sweating in those gloves, and I don't want your sweat in my gloves. I don't know. It's just disgusting. I don't want your sweat in my gloves or on my wraps or in my shin guards. But you can take that to a different level. Not a lot of people are involved in a fighting gym where they need gear such as gloves or shin guards or wraps or whatever. Take it to just a normal gym, a weight gym that you can go lift weights on. They have benches, they have weights, they have all kinds of stuff, all machines.
Yeah,
when you're
machines.
done, what I do if I go to if I'm at a hotel and I go to their fitness center, then I'll take the little wipey thingy that they have, whether it be wipes or a spray and a towel, and I'll wipe it down before I even get on it, and then I'll use it, and then I'll wipe it down after. Most people are lazy and they don't wipe it down after they get off of it. And whatever. Don't be that guy. And
this is no joke. There's like staph and influenza. There's lots of stuff that you can pass around. You want to punch in a face? Leave your nasty sweat all over that.
Yeah.
You're at very least you're gonna hear something about it.
Yeah. And extend that to weights. Re-rack your weights. If you take weights off of the rack and you use them, don't leave them on the frickin' bar. Or if you take dumbbells off the rack, don't leave them next to the station that you just used. Put them back. It's called gym etiquette, and you should have it.
Yeah, no kidding. Don't be that ass. Nothing. You want Professor Paul to be pissed? You want to make me pissed? Let me walk into the red room, and the freaking 45-pound bells that are supposed to be there are somewhere else, and I have to go search for them. No. I don't have time to search for the weights that are supposed to be where they're freaking supposed to be. You put the crap back where it's done. This isn't your house. Your mommy's not here to clean up for you. And Zach's like, oh, don't get mad at. No. And I've established a rule here. You leave stupid at the door.
Yeah.
You want to be stupid, rude, arrogant, selfish, immature.
We need to put a sign on the front door.
That stays once you can do that all you want outside in your own world. In your world, if you want to be selfish, arrogant, and stupid, you do that. When you're underneath this roof that I pay for, that's my rule. You know, it's your mom and dad's house. What does your mommy and daddy say? What do they say to you? What did they say to you before you moved out? My house, my rules. Oh, you don't like it? Go get yourself a job, get yourself an apartment, and you can stay out all night long. You could party, smoke, drink, do whatever you want, but you're not doing that as long as you're living here under this roof. My parents had that rule. I hope yours did, and that's the rule that applies to this building, to Fight You. You want to be stupid? Do stupid on your own time. If you're going to be here with us, you're going to do things right. And
tomorrow you're going to get an assignment, or I'm going to tell you what your responsibility as a listener is.
Ah, that's right. Yeah, Jared has an assignment for you guys tomorrow as a listener. But and this all started, well, first of all, I have a bin in the supply closet that says Professor Paul on it, and that's where I keep my gloves, shin guards, my training gear that I sweat in, and that I clean. Yeah, I clean my own stuff, but you know what? It's my stuff. So I go in there a couple weeks ago, and my gloves are not in my bin. They're somewhere else. And in addition to that, there's other stuff like focus mitts and shin guards in my bin. Not cool. Okay, that was mistake number one. Not cool. So last night, I did my normal workout, and I decided, all right, I'm on SWAT fuel. I still have some energy. I'm going to go do some bag work. So I go to we have some racks where you can hang your hand wraps. You know, you take them off, you stretch them out. You should wash your wraps frequently, but you know, not if you use your wraps for 15, 20 minutes and you didn't sweat that much. I don't care whether you wash them. They're your wraps. I don't care. So I had my hand wraps hanging on the rack, the drying rack, and I knew where they were. And I walk over to the rack, and they're not there. I actually had two sets. Set number one, the black wraps are missing. Can't find those. Set number two, my red wraps, those aren't there either. So I think, okay, maybe someone was being helpful and they rolled them up and threw them in my bin, because Zach usually is pretty good about rolling up my wraps and so forth, or if I ask him to. So I go to my bin, no wraps. I look around the gym. No, I look in the supply closet. I'm tearing stuff apart. Did somebody put them in their bin? You know, I'm looking. Because I'm not going to just hit the heavy bag without wrapping my hands. Not cool. So here comes one of the teenage boys who's now training in our gym. I walk out of the supply closet. He's pulling his gloves off, walking over to the supply closet. I look at his hands, and I recognize, because my wraps are red and they have a blue Velcro closure on the back. And I said, where'd you get those wraps? Oh, I got them off the rack over there. I said, you're wearing my wraps? Not cool, dude. What the funkin' wagnall is up with that? And I did say funkin' wagnall. I didn't say a swear, Jared. So
you didn't say a swear.
I didn't say a swear. I was like, dude, that is not cool. Go rinse those out and hang them up. And I said, in the future, don't use other people's gear. And this is, dude, look at me. This is crazy. I asked this kid, I said, do you do athletics at school? Yeah. I said, would you borrow someone else's jock? And he looked at me like he didn't know what the words I was using, right? Like I was saying words, but like I was speaking Latin to him or something. I said, would you borrow someone else's jock or someone else's T-shirts or whatever? Would you? Oh, no. I said, anything that makes here's the deal. If it's makes skin to skin or skin contact, if it goes directly against your skin, you don't use other people's stuff. And so later on, we come out and there's one of the other coaches was there and this kid was there. And I said, dude, I said, seriously, I said, would you borrow someone else's jock? I said, you were a jock. And he's like, he didn't know what I was talking about. And I looked at Shorty and I was like, dude, what is going on? And he says, oh, they don't wear, he's like,
what?
He don't wear jocks. I'm like, how do you hold your cup up? I said, you wear a protective cup, right? He wasn't like, sure. I said, you play football? Yeah. You wear a cup? No, not always. And I said, sure. I'm like,
What?
are you kidding me? He goes, no, they don't require them to wear cups. I'm like, they don't require them to wear cups in football? He said, no, they have this compression girdle that they wear.
Oh, no. That's not, no.
Oh, but
So if you get speared in the balls, that compression girdle's going to
I was losing my mind. Jared, I wish you could have been there in the gym last night. I was like,
I'm glad I wasn't
I
there.
was losing my mind. I said, in 2016, we have 15, 16-year-old boys that aren't taught, that don't know to protect their balls.
But that actually falls back on the parents.
What kind of world do we live in? I learned to protect my nuts when I was in Little League at age 8 years old. And you didn't play Little League baseball unless you had a cup.
If I played football when I was in high school, would you, or in middle school or whatever, would you have let me go to a football game without a cup on?
No.
Exactly.
And I was like, mouth guards. I was like, do you share mouth guards? No.
That's disgusting.
No, you wouldn't share a mouth guard. They don't wear my wraps.
But you can buy used mouth guards on Amazon.
That is true. You can buy used mouth guards on Amazon.
I'm selling mine if any of you want
if
it.
you're feeling froggy. So here's the bottom line to today's SWAT Fuel Fitness Talk. You go to the gym. I don't care what gym it is. There's a thing called gym etiquette, and there's a thing called hygiene. And you need to wipe up your nasty sweat, and don't borrow other people's gear, and don't let other people borrow your gear. And I guess that's the last thing I'm going to say is don't be a gear enabler. You have that like, oh, man, come on, just let me borrow your – forget you. No. I went to the store and bought my own crap. I went online or whatever and bought my stuff. Why are you Mr. Special? You don't think you should have to buy it?
Here's the deal. If somebody is asking you, or if you are loaning somebody gear every day or every time you guys go to the gym, if they cannot invest in themselves, then they're not serious about doing what they're doing. And you don't want to be an enabler. If they're not serious about it, do not enable them. If you're like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, but I have this buddy that goes to the gym and I need him to go with me. No, you don't.
No. It's like,
No, you
hey,
don't.
man, let me borrow your gloves. Ugh, no.
I need a spotter. No, you don't. Just find something else to do. Do not surround yourself with people like that.
Yeah. All right. It's still February, so listen up, freaks. Go to SWATfuelstore.com and use the code PREPARED. You're going to save 15% off your total order, and that is righteous. So do it.
I need to double up on my multivitamin.
That's why I gave you the one.
Yeah,
Told
thank you.
Did you drink all your echinacea tea before it got cold?
It's about half gone.
Okay.
It's still warm.
All right. We got religion of peace today. We're going to talk about the religion of peace, but before we get into that, because I'm going to go OFF on the Muslim missionary here. So let's talk about our friends at Century Arms, the sweetest smelling arms maker in America. And yes, there's some crap floating around the internet about Century Arms and the whole if you use the product wrong, I'm not going to get into all that. We got a $5 million lawsuit based on someone using a product incorrectly and no one getting injured.
But the coffee's hot, and it burnt me.
I know.
And I didn't know it was hot because the cup didn't say so.
Okay. Oh, and the thing is, it's not just Century. It's everyone who did a semi-auto AK forever.
Yeah.
The only one that doesn't affect is custom gun builders, right? But here's the deal, dudes. The triggers in the old Century guns, in the semi-auto Century guns, they weren't actually. Jared, you know who made them? They weren't Century triggers. They're all Tapco triggers. You know that, right, Jared? That for decades, the semi-automatic AKs, and they basically took the full auto versions and just converted them to semi-auto. That's And I would bet you $1,000 that the AK in question had a TAPCO trigger in it. Now, the new RAS triggers that they have, and the RAS triggers that they're putting in their guns, and they have been putting in the C39 V2 and all that, those actually eliminate that problem, that safety over travel problem. But we don't want to talk about facts. We just want to jump on the we hate such and such bandwagon. So, all right. Crossbreed Holsters, the makers of the Super Tuck Deluxe, the Freedom Carry, the Purse Defender, the Bedside Backup, and lots of other stuff. If you're not carrying a gun, you're wrong. But if you want to carry a gun comfortably, go to crossbreedholsters.com and check those guys out. Frog Lube, makers of Frog Lube Extreme. It just works. Brownells, you can get Frog Lube at brownells.com. You can get lots of stuff. If it goes in your gun, on your gun, around your gun, if it's paired with a gun, you can get it there. Or if you want to buy a gun, then you can do that too. Brownells.com. Duracoat, because life is too short to have an ugly gun. End of story. Or a rusty gun, or what have you. Or a gun that's like 18 different shades of blue, black, and gray. Or maybe you want it to be 18 shades of blue, black, and gray. I don't know. But you can, either way, Duracoat. LauerWeaponry.com. And lastly, Velocity Triggers. You got a black rifle, they have a trigger for you. Check them out at VelocityTriggers.com. All right, let's get to the main topic of the day.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Das geht an die Oma des letzten Propheten Mohammed sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ich bin Allah so dankbar, ein Muslim sein zu dürfen. Das geht an die Oma, wir sind die Oma. Check das aus.
Dirk. All right, so here we go. This is a story that you may or may not have heard, and I'm guessing that you probably haven't heard this story. Well, why would I have not heard this story, Paul? Well, because nobody died. And the bad guy is a Muslim missionary. So nobody died, and the bad guy is a Muslim missionary, so we're really not going to focus on this. And we've got the big game to talk about, and we've got the election process, and we've got all this stuff to talk about, and we don't really need to bother the American people with the fact that there are monsters who've been invited to live in our country by us because we are so nice and we are so wonderful and we're so caring that we've invited evil, satanic death cultists to come and live in our cities and live amongst us. And kill us too, because it would be mean and xenophobic to not let you kill us. Right? That's the world we live in. The source here, there's many sources, but the particular one we've got is Fox 6 Now. Not Fox 6 Later, but fox6now.com.
Right meow.
Mass shooting plot. FBI arrests Milwaukee man accused of planning attack at a Masonic temple. Now, the dateline on this was January 6th, or 26th, excuse me, and I believe that the story actually got a bump because they're getting ready to take this guy to trial. So, let's dive into the story here. We have time to dive into it, Jared? Let's go ahead and do that. Dateline Milwaukee. FBI officials announced on Tuesday, January 26th, that Milwaukee resident Sami Mohammed Hamza, 23, had been charged with possessing machine guns and a silencer. Now, can't you legally possess those things in America? Well, yes, you can. Now, hang on a second. Let's remember the first sentence of this story. Has been charged with possessing machine guns and a silencer. And what else? According to the criminal complaint, Hamza had been under investigation since September of 2015. The investigation revealed that in October 2015, Hamza planned to travel to Jordan, enter the West Bank, and conduct an attack on Israeli soldiers and citizens living in the West Bank. Hamza later abandoned those plans and began to focus on conducting attacks in the United States. Yay, Muslim missionaries. Yay, death cult. According to the criminal complaint, Hamza engaged in extensive conversations with two confidential sources. They used to call them CIs, confidential informants, but I guess they're calling them CSs now, referred to as CS1 and CS2. The conversations, which were in Arabic, were monitored, recorded, and translated by the FBI in October of 2015. During the recorded conversations, Hamza explained that he wanted to commit a domestic act of violence. He wanted to commit a domestic act of violence? So he was planning to commit domestic violence? How about we use the word terrorist attack? Is there a reason that the person, hey, all you cats and kittens out there in the, this story is by Fox News and Ashley Sears. And I know Ashley can be a boy's name or a girl's name, but why do you think, Jared, why do you think they deliberately left the word terrorism out of the story?
Because he can't be a terrorist. He's not a terrorist. I mean, obviously not.
He's engaged in domestic violence. Well, let's go ahead and see what kind of domestic violence that Mr. Hamza, what he was looking to commit here. So, domestic violence, was he gonna smack his life partner for not making a sandwich, or what was he gonna do? Oh, he settled on the Masonic Temple in Milwaukee as his target. On January 19th, 2016, Hamza and CS1 and CS2 went to a shooting range and then took a guided tour of the Masonic Temple, during which they learned meeting schedules and where people would be located during meetings. In a recorded conversation after they left the temple, Hamza discussed his plans with CS1 and 2. In that conversation, Hamza reaffirmed his intention to commit an armed attack on the temple and discussed further details on how they would carry out the attack. Again, we've left out the terms terrorism out of the story. It was an armed domestic violence attack.
You know, the Masons are probably not the people that you would want to plan an attack on. I'm just saying.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm thinking that they would, but then again, we're in Milwaukee and Wisconsin, so. Are people armed in Wisconsin?
Maybe.
I don't know. I know in Minnesota their brains are all frozen and they have an inability to think.
Oh, did you see that?
Our good friends at Duraco at Lauer Weaponry, they're in Wisconsin.
Oh, so then that can't be.
Yeah, that can't be. Well, they're armed, but I don't know about Milwaukee. Milwaukee is generally pretty far off, lunatic, socialist, insane. But they do have a good sheriff up there. So I don't know. Milwaukee's weird. They have all these like left-wing lunatic ideas, but then they produce some good people. So I don't know. But go ahead.
Did you see that we got a lesson on check money?
Oh, yeah. We got a lesson on check money. And yes, I understand that it is currently called the Czech Republic. You know why I call it Czechoslovakia? Because I am a Cold Warrior. And Zach's like, I was explaining that to Zach about how when I was involved in the Marine Corps during the Cold War, it was Czechoslovakia.
Yeah.
And he goes, "You weren't in the Cold War, Dad." Like, he goes, wasn't that in the 60s? Like, no, it actually didn't really end until like 90, 91 time frame. And he's like, really?
Did you say that, you know, if you'd listened to me when I talked, that you would know all this stuff?
He's like, really? Yeah, we were like fencing with the Soviets and anyway, I know it's currently the Czech Republic, and I meant no offense by it.
Yeah, the Czech currency is
the krona,
the Czech koruna or the crown.
The krona or the crown.
And they're a member of the European Union, but did not choose to use the euro.
Congratulations to you for that.
Yes, and they drink more beer per capita than any other country in the world. It's cheaper there than water. I'm moving to
cheaper than water, huh?
Well, yeah, I'm moving there.
Gasoline in Saudi Arabia is cheaper than water, too. All right, let's continue on talking about our Muslim missionary here. Hamza said that they would need 2 machine guns so that they would each have one, indicating that CS1 already had a machine gun. Now, these are obviously confidential informants. These are people that are working with the FBI. And also said they would need 3 silencers. Aha! So here we go. Let's dissect this because this will be a good lead into tomorrow's show. Quote from this Muslim missionary Hamza: "We want 2 machine guns and now have 1. We want 2 more and we need 3 silencers. That's it. Find out how much altogether these will cost, and then we will march," Hamza said. And Hamza continued and said, "We want 2 like the machine gun you have, and we need silencers. 3, yes, 3 silencers, and that's it." And he continued and he said, "Each one has a weapon. Each one has a silencer gun. The operation will be 100% successful. I am telling you, to go without silencer gun, you will be exposed from the beginning." Now, I'm not sure what machine guns this dude was planning on using here, because thanks to the federal government, and you can't own a new machine gun. You know that, right?
Yeah.
You can have a pre-86 machine gun, or you can go out and get a machine gun manufacturer's license, and then you can have one, or a dealer's license, and you can have one. But I digress. Hamza also explained to C1 and C2 that when they executed the attack at the temple, one of the 3 men would have to stay at the main door while the others went upstairs to kill people who would be meeting there. Now, like I said, many of you probably have not heard this story. If you don't live in Milwaukee or in Wisconsin, you probably haven't heard about it because he didn't carry it out, and he is a death cult missionary, so we don't want to hurt their feelings, and we don't want to spread Islamophobia or xenophobia by making the American people think that these monsters are dangerous, because that would be wrong. Said Hamza, quote, "One of us will stay at the door, at the entrance, and lock the door down. He will be at the main door down. 2 will get the lift up." That's the elevator. "They will enter the room and spray everyone in the room. The one who is standing downstairs will spray anyone he finds. We will shoot them, kill them, and get out. We will walk and walk. After a while, we will be covered as if it is cold. We will take the covers off and dump them in a corner and keep on walking as if nothing happened, as if everything is normal. But one has to stand by the door because no one stood at the door. Because if no one stood at the door, people would be going in and out. If people came from outside and found out what was going on, everything is busted." So, notice still he talks about entering a building, securing the front door, going upstairs, and spraying everyone in the room, killing them all. And nowhere in the first 6 paragraphs of this story is there any reference to the word terrorism. You think that's an accident, Jared? Or do you think that we're deliberately not linking the word terrorism with Mohammed Hamza?
It's just an isolated
He was just going to
incident anyway.
commit some domestic violence, is what he was going to do. Okay. To continue into the mind of this death cult missionary, as long as one on the door understands he has bigger responsibility than the others, for your information, he has to take care of everyone around him, the comers and the one that wants to go. He has to annihilate everyone. There is no one left. I mean, when we go into a room, we will be killing everyone. That's it. This is our duty. As for the one at the door, he must have 20/20 eye vision and always be alert for traffic around him. Do you notice that Mohammed Hamza believes that it is his duty to kill everyone in the room? Everyone at the... We're like, well, who are the everyone's? Just innocent people. I am telling you, continued the Muslim death cult missionary Mohammed Hamza, I am telling you, as I was saying, all 3 of us get in together. One will go to the one that is staying at the reception. If she was alone, it is okay. If there were 2 of them, shoot both of them. Do not let the blood show. Shoot her from the bottom. 2 or 3 shots in her stomach, and let her sit in her chair, and push her to the front as if she were sleeping. Do you understand? Then stay downstairs, and the other 2 will take the lift to the 3rd floor. Go directly to the room. Open the door. Shoot everyone. Move fast, even avoiding the lift and taking the stairs down. Using the stairs, the 3rd one will not notice us. No one sees anything or knows anything. We will leave as if there was nothing. No running. No panic. Just regular walking. And lastly, he says, and we will eliminate everyone. Wow. There's more. You guys want more? Or do you pretty much get it by now? Yes. Now, riddle me this, Batman. Now, here's what they keep saying in the story. Hamza, all right, it says Hamza made plans to purchase machine guns and silencers from 2 individuals who, unbeknownst to Hamza, were undercover FBI agents. He met with them along with C1 and C2 on January 25th of 2016. The undercover agents displayed the weapons and a silencer to Hamza, told him that the weapons were capable of automatic fire, and explained to him the functioning of the selector switch that allowed the weapons to fire automatically. Hamza agreed to a price and paid it to the undercover agents, who then handed Hamza a bag containing 2 automatic weapons and a silencer. Hamza carried the bag to his vehicle, in which he traveled to the meeting, and placed the bag in the trunk of the vehicle. He was then arrested and charged with illegally possessing machine guns. Now, question. I got a question for you in the audience. Why are they not charging Hamza with the attempted commission of terrorism? Riddle me this, Batman. Did the FBI and the federal government just not persecute and jail 2 ranchers for setting a backfire to stop a wildfire from getting to their property, and the wildfire burned up some national forest refuge? Jared, what were they charged with?
Terrorism.
They were charged with terrorism. 2 Caucasian American ranchers, like in 2006, started a backfire, and that is, if you guys don't live out west, you don't deal with wildfires, to prevent a wildfire from getting to their ranch. And it spread to and they're like, well, it's terrible, that's arson, they should die, they should... The forest will be okay. I promise. The forest will be okay. The federal government wanted their land, and they wanted them out, and they wanted it so bad that they worked and schemed and plotted and finally came up with a terrorism charge against these 2 ranchers, right? Here we have a death cult missionary. And according to this story, which we went through in great detail, the main thing that they wanted to bust this guy on was illegally purchasing NFA items, a machine gun and silencers. Even though we went through there and we have all these recordings of the conspiracy to commit terrorism, mass murder, nowhere in the story does it say that he's been charged with conspiring, plotting, planning an act of terrorism on U.S. soil. So and he says in the last thing, he goes, if they asked how many should we kill, and he said 30 is excellent. If I got out after killing 30 people, I would be happy 100% happy, because these 30 will terrify the world. Based on the information that the FBI has released to the media, this guy planned to kill at least 30 people in order to, quote, in his own words, to terrify the world. But nowhere in this story, let me go back and look again. Maybe I missed it. Nowhere in it here does it say that he's being charged with terrorism. Nowhere in the title, nowhere in their thing. What the farfignugan, America? Seriously, Jared, are you driving? Are you tracking with me here today?
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
And if I can put on my amazing Kreskin hat, what I'm going to say is this: that they're going to use this as a push to try and convince the uneducated that we need to eliminate all machine guns and silencers in the world, because silencers are obviously tools that those who wish to commit acts of domestic violence desire. So who's the real bad guy in it? Is it the Muslim missionary Mohammed Hamza, or is it the existence of the silencer? Folks, you need to pay attention. You need to be you need to guard your liberty closely. Because, first of all, is this something that the FBI should be doing? Should they be busting potential terrorists? Yes, that's what we want them to do. And most people they'll hear this, they'll be like, hey, FBI arrests a guy who was planning an attack, go team, good job, win, win, win. And they'll never get any further into it than that. Answer it for yourself, folks. Why is this guy not being charged with terrorism? We'll charge ranchers under terrorism statutes so that we can force them off their property, bankrupt them, so that the BLM can take over their ranch. But we won't charge a Muslim missionary who planned to murder 30 people with terrorism. Chew on that for a little bit. All right, folks, we'll be back tomorrow. And like I said, you don't want to miss it. We're going to have Jeremy from silencershop.com, and we're going to talk about all things quiet or quieter. How's that sound for you? Remember,
I think it sounds like a plan.
It sounds like a plan. You're a beginner once. You should indeed be a student for life.